So welcome to Challenge the Road. Aston Martin DBX first drive. It's quite punchy. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I've been really excited about this, and a big thank you for Harwoods Group for loaning us this car today. Now, I've had a few Aston Martins, but they've always been sporty ones, and this is their first 4x4. And I have literally just jumped in this car, so I have no idea how a lot of the buttons work. First one I put on was heated seats. It's a really cold day, but just first impression actually feels quite sporty actually. When I've been in the Land Rover and I've had a huge amount of SUVs from Porsche Macan, Cayenne, X5s, it feels really nimble. It feels quite quick actually. Some funny things with this already. I'm with the wipers, I'm a bit all over the place because at first I feel like I have to push them up, but obviously it's a twist on here which is slightly different. But no, it certainly feels like it's got some power from that Mercedes 4-litre V8. And this was the first 4x4 all new car by Aston. Probably the last YouTuber to review it, but I'm just going to drive it and see. So straight off. Okay. Does it make you smile? Yes, it does. Yeah, this feels really good. Really good. Super impressed so far. So visibility is not too bad. Quite a small screen. Started using the paddles already. I'd never normally use that in an SUV, but actually they feel. Let's drop this down. Oh. Okay. I don't know what, I think we're in GT mode it says on here. How do I move it to the other mode? Let's have a little look at this. It must be a right mode. Here we go. Let's just go straight to sport. That's a Challenge the Road thing actually. Go Sport Plus, why not? Okay, oh no, it says no traction control. That's not a good idea. Let's put it to sport. Give me sport, please. Reduce speed. Okay, let me just find. Here we go, sport. Got it. Okay, let's see what happens now. Oh, pops and bangs. Here we go. Of course, it's a bit wet through here. This is not what I thought it would be. I don't know what to say really. I didn't think it would be like this. This isn't really like an SUV. Well, it is an SUV, but it doesn't feel like it. This feels fantastic. And the pops and burbles. I mean, I know they've got the relationship with Mercedes, but this 4-litre V8's a fantastic engine. And why wouldn't you want the engine like this? I mean, I know they'll probably make, hopefully, some other cars that maybe have bespoke Aston Martin engine, but why do you need anything when you've got an engine like this? Wow. Now this morning I got up early and I watched a couple of reviews on the cars, and everyone's done about the specs and everything. I just wanted to just drive it and go, okay, what's this all about? And it's about a lot actually. This has got, yeah, this has taken me aback, as I thought I was going to be doing this review and be comparing it with the Land Rover, but there's no comparison. The Land Rover's lovely, but it's a cruiser. This is not. This is absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's just slow this all down a bit, because obviously I got too excited. So I've gone to GT mode, and we're going to go through the town. We're going to head off to the secret lake, have a little walk around there, and then we'll do some more driving on the way back. But yeah, now we're in a 30 zone. Let's just ease this all off. The ride, it's got very good compliance, this ride. I'm not sure what setting I'm in, but it feels very compliant, but I can really feel the road, which is nice, which I think in turn is making it feel sporty. So we just come up, let's go, we're going to go into Tunbridge Wells, normal route. Let's see if we're going to do the school run and see how it feels going slowly. Now the gearbox feels really nice, really smooth, downshifts are smooth. Let's go straight across here. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think I've still got it on the paddle mode, which is making it rev, but no, it feels really nice. And I think the difference with this is I feel like when you're in the Range Rover a lot, you feel like you're going really slow. I don't know if it's because it's so comfortable, but it doesn't feel... This feels more like a car, so it feels like it's actually shrunk a lot around me. It doesn't feel overly big. In the Range Rover, you feel like you're in a huge car. This doesn't. Right, let's go down here. Hopefully someone will let us out. And they won't, because we're in a big black Aston Martin Jeep. Nice sound on the indicators. Right, got a chance to stop now, so I just want to look at these modes. So I've got this Terrain, Terrain Plus, GT. Right, let's just stay in GT. I'm not sure if these paddles just drop off. Now, a lot of people have said about this infotainment system, never used it before. I don't really know what all the buttons do. I can have a look. It looks like I've got a raise feature, terrain feature here for going down slopes, which I wouldn't do. Quite like the dash. It's got the old buttons, which are like the DBS we've got, and the Astons of the past are quite like them up here. A little bit of a reach to get to them. I wish maybe the reverse should be on the right, but that's where it is. You've got the little engine stop start button. This screen here, I was watching the reviews and obviously everyone said that it's an old info system, but for me, I still like the buttons and that. I like just the pressure heated seats, quite nice. I can change the volume here and I can change the volume here. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I mean, I don't know how much you need. Do you need a massive iPad screen in the middle? Probably. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But for me, I just want the phone to work and everything to be easy to get to. So the other thing that's nice on this car is this steering wheel is nice. Still can't seem to get into auto, but it's staying on the paddles. But actually, I don't mind driving the paddles. But yeah, it's really, really nice, really comfortable. One thing I can't get my head round at the moment, just as a first impression, is that the car seemed quite big outside, but it feels really compact inside. So I'd like to, when we get back, maybe put this with the Range Rover and see the difference in size. Seats feel pretty comfortable, not quite as comfortable as the Range Rover, but I wasn't expecting that. The Range Rover seats are fantastic. These feel quite sporty, feel supportive. I think the interior on this car is really nice, actually. Quite like it. I think the only difference is probably the leather and the feel isn't quite up to the Range Rover standard. But I need to get back in that Range Rover later and have another look. It might just be first impression. Quite like the stitching on here. It feels quite high up, but again, I'm going to check that with the Range Rover, but I don't know why I'm feeling like that. But it feels, let's say, really, really nice to drive, very easy. I still can't get it into drive. I'm going to have to use the paddles, but there must be a mode on here. How do I get it back? So mode, GT. Normally what happens if you use the paddles, the car will default back to auto. Come on, do it for me. Right, actually that's it. I'm going to press drive. There we go. Right, so let's see it in automatic now. So steering wheel's got a huge amount of buttons on, but all seem pretty good. You've got your voice, up and down for your stereo, your home, your volume controls, telephone controls. Feels really nice in here, actually. I tell the truth, I can't wait to actually drive this car and I know we're just going through these towns, but I just want to. This car makes you feel like you really want to go for a drive, which I'm really surprised. You imagine, the amount of cars we've driven, very sporty cars. It does feel very sporty. Right, so we've got it in drive mode, normal automatic now. Yeah, it's very, very smooth. Very smooth. Need to check if this gearbox is a Mercedes or an Aston Martin one, not sure. But all the time, all I'm thinking about is going for those paddles, and and driving the car, which is it's a really nice feeling actually. And I'm just blown away by that. I didn't think it would be like that. I just feel like going, let's go. So it's almost like two cars in one. We've got that power. I'm really interested to see how this handles. But actually the paddles have got a nice feel, and some paddles don't feel that great. I mean, McLaren's and that, the paddles feel really nice, and then if you had, say, a 458 Speciale, I think these probably feel better than that on the paddle shift. The Ferrari's always felt a little bit flimsy. This doesn't. It feels really nice. I didn't think I'd be talking about the paddles, but feel good factor. Yeah, I don't. It feels like a different type of Aston Martin. When you're so used to being in, say, the GT8 or the DBS, you feel like you're king of the road. In this, I don't get that feeling at the moment. I feel like I'm in just a really, really nice, classy 4x4. That's how it feels. It hasn't. Oh, I keep doing that because the wipers on here are on a toggle, and normally you go up and down with a wiper, so I keep indicating. Sorry, people behind. But no, I think, yeah, it's a really, really nice place to be, and it's got that dual persona where you can go very slowly. Let's put it in that automatic again, so I can go nice and slow, enjoy the car, automatic gearbox, and then I know I've got that performance there whenever I want it. And this is a quick car, 4.5 seconds. I think it said 190 mile an hour in an SUV, which is incredible. And I looked up, I was on Harwoods website actually this morning and looking up some cars. Good website, and very easy to use. And actually it worked on an iPad, which was great, because normally most websites are very poor on the Apple products, but it was really easy to use. And I had a look around what's happening with these cars. I think they're going to bring out a full electric. They're going to bring out maybe a hybrid. Hybrid might be of interest to me. I think with this, the price bracket being sort of, 170 to 200k, it could be sort of two cars in one. I think it feels quite sporty. We're going to head off now to some better roads and get a bit more of a feeling for it on the A roads. So visit the Secret Lake, then come back, and then I've got some roads that I know, and that'll give me a real appreciation for how good the ride and handling is. Right, so we're on some better roads. Let's try sport. Some nice little A roads, a few little bends. How does it feel? And we're just going at a nice speed, 50 mile an hour. Feels good. Obviously that indicates right next to the paddle on there. Just hit that, trying to use the paddle. Just drop it down. Suspension feels good. It's a very, very nippy car, this. So I'm not sure you could, well, it must be like a sports SUV really, because it's too good at driving to be like a Range Rover comparison. The steering is excellent, lots of feel. A nice couple of bends here. Let's drop it down. The gearbox is great. Oh, a little bit of understeer up through. Yeah, it's just, I put the power and it feels like it pushes wide, but then it gathers up from the back fine. Very nippy car. If you get one of these, you're gonna get to places very quickly because it's so enjoyable to drive. I had a look at the tyres. They've got these all-weather tyres on. They feel really good. Brakes feel excellent. And Aston have always had good brakes. I look at my DBS, my old DBS I've got, it's got the ceramic brakes. And I was always so impressed with the pedal feel, and this feels really good. And also remembering that we're on very wet roads at the moment. I think this is the first SUV I've ever used paddles on, and it seems so natural. Oh, little backfire on there. It seems so natural to use them. I wasn't expecting that. Listen to that on the overcontrol. Very good, Aston Martin, very good. Nice bit of road coming up here. Let's just enjoy this car. So here's first gear, second gear, third gear, backfiring, really, really planted. This is a super SUV, super duper. Lovely to drive. The handling feels good. I say it's got a lot of power, so when you first put your foot on the accelerator, it just pushes you wide a bit, then it just gathers up. I can imagine in the dry, this is a super quick car. Say car, I'm calling it a car because it feels like a car. I think you could take this on a track, you know. So now we've got an SUV, got a big boot, drives like a car, but a sports car. It's quite quick, rides very well. Seats feel okay, they feel a little bit, I'd say stiff would be the word. They're not quite as soft, but it might be, I might have the wrong lumbar setting. I say I've just jumped in it and drove it. I think sometimes it's quite nice to do that. But this is good to drive. Exciting to drive. And it doesn't quite seem right using the paddles all the time, but that's what feels best to use. Brakes feel good. They just get a little bit of room up here just to hit these brakes. Let's get a bit of a splash through there. I feel really good. This is a superbly developed SUV from Aston. I think it has to be, this is the best SUV I've driven. I know the Macan was really good, but obviously I had that in a diesel version, 3 litre diesel, and that felt really nice as well when it got going. But I think this has got a lovely noise, and it feels really, really together's the word. Everything works brilliantly. Right, so let's drive down to the Secret Lake, just in auto again, GT mode. Very, very compliant, very smooth. I spoke about this lake before in a previous video, and we hadn't completed on it then, but we have now. And this will be a carp syndicate for the future, hopefully 2 carp syndicates, and part of the RG fisheries. And we're head down there. It's a lovely old lake, over 500 years old. And then we'll just try and get a little bit of a first impression of this car before I drive it back, and try this Sport Plus mode and Sport mode, and do a little bit more daily driving. So we're going to come up to the lake now. So we're here now at the Secret Lake, not so secret anymore, but this was a lake I found a few months ago, and I've been able to purchase this now. 13 acres, and it was an old ironworks back from Roman times actually, and now we're going to turn this into 2 carp syndicates. So it's a lovely place to be, very, very quiet. But just a quick reflection on the Aston. It's very, very sporty, and I wasn't expecting that, if I'm honest. And I think that the gearbox, the engine, the brakes, absolutely fantastic on that car, and it's really, really enjoyable. Made me smile the first sort of 400 yards just going along. So I'm looking forward to driving that back a bit more and spending a bit more time with it and putting it against the Range Rover. But out here, I mean, it's been very, very difficult with lockdown and all these restrictions, and places like these with lakes and areas you can come to are becoming rarer and rarer, and that's why we purchased this for the fishing. Because fishing being one of the only sports that's allowed at the moment, and obviously through lockdown, so it's absolutely boomed, and we really enjoy bringing these places back to their former glory. So we've got quite a lot of work to do here. We're working with VS Fisheries, and we're going to take the water level down, have a look at the silt levels, make some new banks where it's been eroded, put some new carp into here and build this back to its former glory. Let's walk along to one of my favourite bits here. Come on, let's go. So 500 years old, Roman times. This was the dam, led down to the furnace, where obviously they'd make all the old swords, hammers, all the type of things. There's 4 hammer ponds left, I think, in Kent, this being one of them, and it's called Furnace Pond. Let's just go across here. It's a little bit dicey, actually very dicey. See, as it's wet, and it's, yeah, and what a fantastic view now you've got right across the lake. Let's go across here. You can look right over the amount of water going through. But yeah, I'm super excited about this project. It's just lovely to have that feeling that you can bring back, you know, something to its former glory again. And the work we do around the sides with the reeds, bringing back more and more wildlife into here, and also making it just a fantastic carp syndicate. And I think I need to do a bit of repairs here, because this feels a little bit dicey. I can see this one doesn't look too good, and that doesn't look great, but we'll get this repaired. I think we can put a nice handrail here. I can see some lovely summer evenings, hopefully seeing a few carp roll across the water. Right, so that's the secret lake done. God, it was cold out there, I know that. Lovely to be back in here. So let's go for a proper drive and then do some real world stuff, like should we do a McDonald's drive through? Why not? See what these cup holders and that are like in here. So that's what we're going to do. Right, up this hill. So now we're in Sport, and it feels very nice. It's a very, very quick car. Third. I'm just using the paddles all the time, it's just so natural. Once we get up here, we can go left, and then we've got some nice little sweeping roads up here. It's really weird now, because when I get back, get into any car, I always compare it to the simulator. I actually took the GT8 out the other day just for a little 10 minutes, just because the batteries go on them if you don't run them, and I was really surprised how it was so similar to the simulator. And this feels, I say, the paddles feel not quite as good as the simulator, but they feel very good, and the whole car feels super together. Am I enjoying it? Absolutely. Rides nicely. So the Land Rovers and stuff, they feel a little bit floaty, but this doesn't. Reminds me a lot, I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but it reminds me very much of Audi and how they've got their suspension setups. There's Audi in the Jeeps. We've got the Q5 hybrid at the moment, and it feels very similar to that. And I've got a test coming up on that soon, where I'll do a little review. Right, let's drop that down again. Let's say it's really strange using paddles. And now we're behind traffic, so let's drop it off. Let's go to the drive mode, the automatic. It feels really nice. I think it'd be interesting to see how practical this car is. I think we're going to go. Oh, still getting muddled up with those wipers on there. Take me a bit of time to get used to that. Yeah, have a look at the rear room, have a look at the boot, see how practical it really is. The first impression is the boot does seem really big, but maybe not as deep as the other cars, so we just have to check that. It does feel quite a long car from the outside, but I say in here it feels really nice. There's some nice little roads here. Let's just back it off a bit because people in the way. Let's try this, because let's go Sport Plus. Here we go. Right, traction control off. Great. third. It's really burbling. It feels really sporty. I know you're high up, but it does feel good. Let's get some of those crackles on the downshift. Listen to that. What this revs to. Let's just put that back one. Let's go just back to sport for now. Don't know what the miles per gallon is going to be with me driving. I think it's going to be in the, I don't know, I didn't reset it. It's probably going to be 15, I would have thought. Or is that, obviously the Land Rover, I'm getting about 40 miles per gallon. All the time though, I just want to keep messing around with these paddles. No, it does feel sporty. I wonder what will happen actually if we start going to left foot braking. Yeah, feels good. The only problem is the brake pedal's a little bit to the right, so it's not quite set up for that. So back to the right foot for now. Right, let's head down to the McDonald's drive-through. I've just driven all the way through town then, probably about 15 minutes. Felt pretty good actually. Stop-start was okay. The drive was pretty good. A little tiny bit juddery compared to the Range Rover on the suspension, but not enough to worry about. I think it went through there really well. So if you were using it on a lot of commutes or slower journeys, I think it's absolutely fine. And we're just run down, we're on the A21 now, we're just run down, put it through McDonald's, we get a cappuccino, something, McDonald's timing as well, like 11:40, what do you eat? Because I would just go for one of those, like a bacon and egg, and they go, no, we don't have them, we've stopped, sir. And then you don't really want to have a burger. So what do you eat? I'm going to have to try and think about that, maybe a wrap or something. But yeah, super impressed. It's a very, very good all-round car. Still trying to think about where you put it, because it's, maybe it hasn't quite got the comfort or the luxury of the Range Rover, but then it's a different type of car. It can obviously be hustled and pushed and drive really well, so it's still a difficult one, so I'm going to retain that for a bit later on. But we'll head down to McDonald's now, go through these roundabouts and over. So as we drive down, Lamborghini garage, Tunbridge Wells is up there, and one of the main competitors is the Urus for this car, which I haven't driven, I'd like to. It'd be interesting because obviously that's got even more performance than this, even though this is still a sub 8 minute Nuremberg lap time car. So it'd be interesting to see that car and compare the two. So the only things I'm finding as I'm driving it more, it holds the gear too long on the drive, not like fractionally, but when you've spent a lot of time with cars and you really get in tune with them, it's just holding it too long, which obviously with the fuel economy it obviously would be affecting that. But I would just drop the gears a bit more, but maybe that's a setting I would find. The ride's great. Yeah, it's really good, and I'm just in the GT mode now. I know it's got air suspension and stuff, but I've just left it as standard. Maybe we'll have a look at the individual mode. So let's just drive up into this drive-through, and obviously not know what to order because of the time of day, but let's check out these cup holders and do some sort of day-to-day stuff. Hi, can I have a sweet chili chicken wrap and a cappuccino, please? No, just as that, please. Anything else? That's it. Perfect. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. Great, thank you, cheers. Okay, so we're out at McDonald's, passed all the tests, cup holders are good. Always that funny time though, what to eat there, 20 to 12. Let's get on the motorway. So I've done a huge amount of driving round Tunbridge Wells now. I'm really starting to get into this car. I want to just get on the motorway and then we can just get a final sort of verdict on it. So I'm not finding a huge amount that I can fault with this car at the moment. Right, so on the motorway we go. I say the only thing is it holds the gears a little bit long. When I reverse and I pull a paddle to go to drive, it doesn't let me. But obviously you can just go to drive, and so I'm getting into real little things now. The width of the car, I say through the drive-through and that is absolutely fine. It didn't seem as big as the, definitely not as big as the Range Rover, but I definitely think it's quite a long car. Reversing camera's good, phone's good. It's quite quiet, which I really like in a car. But if you go to sport, you can get that sort of rumble from the exhaust and the popping and bursts, which is quite nice. But at the moment, I think it's a very comfortable car, pretty quiet. I'm actually really enjoying it. So we're going to go along this dual carriageway, and then we'll head on. Actually, it's got the little indicator in the wing mirrors that there's a car. It's got a lot of spec, this car. I actually found it had a heated steering wheel as well, so it's definitely a winner. But yeah, we'll head down and then we'll find, you know, another little A road on the way home, drive that a bit more, and then we can get a final verdict on this car. But yeah, really enjoying it so far, and I've been through lots of different things in town, motorway, A road, so we can really conclude soon. Another good test on a dual carriageway I find is how good the steering and the balancing. Now I know this piece of road I'm on is really bumpy, but if I just let the steering wheel go as light as I can, there's no pulling on the steering wheel, and I love that in a car. Just means it's beautifully balanced. I hate the cars you have to hold on to the wheel all the time because it's always constantly trying to move. And even though this has got huge rims and tyres on, it's very relaxing because there's no pull or pull on the steering, so you just drive and it's just letting it, almost driving itself. It feels very relaxing. Our friends at Harwoods, who loaned us the car today, fantastic company, family business, I think almost over 100 years, and they've been doing a lot with their showrooms around the technology and digital products. I know they all run iPhones, iPads, they've got paperless forms. So when the lockdown finishes and you go there, I think you're going to get a real Rolls-Royce experience there. And looking at their website and that today, I think it's a very good place to buy from. And you know, if you're in the southeast, they've got lots of dealerships, and I think they're going to be opening more. I know they've recently just got McLaren, so it's a really good place to be, Harwoods. And you know, we've had some cars from them ourselves, and the experience has been really good. So yeah, have a look on their website if you get a chance. But I had a look this morning when I was just going through some of the DBX details, and it's really easy to use. Now we're at the end of our drive in the DBX, and I'm really surprised. I think it's an absolutely fantastic car. We've been on dual carriageways, we've been through the lanes, we've been in town, we've been through McDonald's, splashes, and I tell you what, this is some car. Aston have done an absolutely fantastic job with this. One thing that's really made an impression on me is the suspension. Handles, bumps and everything fantastic, and if you imagine all the cars we use at Challenge the Road, this is right up there. I haven't got time today to go through all the exterior and interior, but I think there's loads of reviews on that. This is purely about driving. Would you buy one? yeah, I mean, if you did, you wouldn't be disappointed. I think it drives lovely. A few little niggles, but they're just little things like with the paddles not going to the D, but nothing really. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I actually don't really want to give it back, if I'm honest, because I'm enjoying it so much. Because I can't understand that I'm in an SUV, but I'm able to use the paddles and I'm driving, really driving, and it feels, I say, so compliant. There's too many superlatives for this car really, but yeah, they've done an absolutely fantastic job. Huge thank you to Harwoods for lending us the car. It's the first car we've had loaned to challenge the road. All the other cars have been our own vehicles, so a big thank you to them. I know they've got a new McLaren partnership, which yeah, if there's any McLarens going, we'd love to drive the new McLaren. So yeah, that's it. Please like and subscribe our channel. We've got more videos coming up, and I really hope you enjoyed this review of the DBX.